You think you've been through hell. You think you've hit rock bottom, that you've been tested, challenged, and broken. Let me tell you this, you haven't even come close. You're still standing because they didn't break you. No, they never had the chance. They planned though. They plotted. They tried to trick you. They tried to break you mentally, to twist you into someone who gives up. But they failed. Why? Because the real enemy isn't the world. It's yourself. You've been walking through life blindfolded, thinking you're tough, thinking you're grinding, thinking you're doing everything right. But you've been dodging punches you don't even see coming. The real battle, it's not against the economy, your job, your family, or even your so-called friends. It's against the lies you tell yourself, the comfort you've let your mind sink into. That's the enemy. You are your own prison. There's no one holding you back but you. The Hitmen, they didn't break you. They didn't destroy you. They never had to. All they had to do was plant a seed of doubt, make you feel like maybe, just maybe, you weren't enough. That's how they break you. They don't attack your body, they attack your mind. They make you question your worth, your purpose, your strength. They slowly turn you into a coward in your own head. You've been standing still for too long, pretending you're in motion, waiting for a sign, waiting for a break. You've been waiting like a little bitch for the world to hand you a victory. Newsflash, nobody is coming to save you. You think anyone gives a damn about your excuses? No, the world doesn't owe you a thing. You owe the world a fight. It's time to face the music. Every single excuse you've made for yourself, every reason why you haven't pushed yourself harder, gone further, achieved more, it's all a lie. These are the lies they told you. These are the lies you've embraced, and you've been living in that bubble for too long. It's not that you can't win. It's that you've convinced yourself you won't. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about the fight inside you. The Hitmen didn't break you, they planned. They laid the trap. They pulled the strings. And you weak-minded fool, you walked straight into it. They told you it was too hard, too late, too risky. They told you it would never work. They told you you'd fail just like everyone else. And you believed them. That's the real tragedy. You've been playing a game you don't even understand. You think you're waiting for some magic moment, for the stars to align, for some right time to start. You think there's some perfect, gentle path to success. There isn't. This is war. No one gives a damn about your comfort, your feelings, or your dreams if you're not willing to fight for them. The moment you drop your guard, the world will eat you alive. There are no soft spots in life. You've been looking for an excuse to quit, haven't you? Every time it got too tough, every time your plans fell apart, you found a reason to step back, to put it off, to hit pause. You think this is about comfort. This is about survival. This is about being relentless, being unstoppable. This is about burning down every roadblock in your path, even if that roadblock is inside your own head. Let me break it down for you. Every hitman who's ever tried to destroy you has one thing in common: they don't fight fair. They never will. They use your weaknesses against you. They exploit your insecurities. They know exactly how to break you because you let them. The real enemy is the one you've been hiding from, the one you've allowed to dictate your choices. That's the war inside your mind. You can keep pretending that this is just some bad phase, or you can accept the cold, harsh truth. This is your reality. You have been beaten down not by external forces, but by your own inability to face the truth. You don't need a mentor, a coach, a guru. You need to face the brutal, unfiltered truth that you are the one who has been holding yourself back. Every time you fail, every time you settle for less, you are letting the Hitmen win. They don't need to pull a trigger to take you down. They only need you to believe that you've already lost. That's how they destroy you. They break your spirit with lies. They break your will to fight. But here's where the game changes. They've already lost. They don't know it yet, but you're coming. You're coming for everything they've tried to take from you. Everything they've tricked you into thinking you didn't deserve. You're not broken. You're battle-tested. And you've got one last thing to do: destroy the illusion. Now it's your move. You either wake up and take action, or you let the lies win. You either step into the war zone and fight like a savage, or you roll over and die quietly. What will it be? You're sitting there, looking at your life, convincing yourself that everything is going to be okay, aren't you? You've been telling yourself that one day you'll break through, that one day your luck will change, that one day the universe will come to your rescue and everything will just fall into place. But that's a lie. That's the biggest lie you've ever told yourself. You think you're different from everyone else. You tell yourself that your story is special, that the rules of success don't apply to you. You make excuses for why you haven't done what you said you would. Maybe you'll start tomorrow, or next week, or next month. You'll wait for the right opportunity to come along, the right moment where it all feels perfect. But you want the truth. There is no perfect moment. There is no right time. There is no magic switch that's going to flip and make everything easier. If you're waiting for things to fall into place, you're going to be waiting your whole damn life. The truth is, you've been lying to yourself. And I get it. It's easier that way. It's easier to believe in some fairy tale, in some fairy tale version of success, than to face the cold reality that everything you want is sitting just beyond your comfort zone, waiting for you to make a decision. It's waiting for you to stop making excuses, to stop pointing fingers at circumstances, and take ownership of the mess you've created. You think it's the world that's holding you back. No, it's you. You've been sold a lie, and you've bought it hook, line, and croix. You've been told that success is for the lucky ones, that you need connections, that you need resources, that you need the right situation to even have a shot. You've been convinced that you need to wait for the perfect moment, the right circumstances, the perfect opportunity to arrive. But it's all a lie. Success doesn't care about your circumstances. Success doesn't care about your background, your bank account, or your family connections. Success doesn't care if you feel tired, unprepared, or underqualified. It doesn't care if the odds are stacked against you, if you failed 1,000 times. Success cares about what you're willing to do to get it. And right now, you're lying to yourself about what you're willing to sacrifice. You're lying to yourself about what you're willing to give up to make it happen. What's it going to take to wake you up from this fantasy? You think you're the exception, don't you? You think the rules apply to everyone else, but not you. You're sitting there wrapped in your excuses, thinking it's all just too much, too hard, too risky, too complicated. Well, let me tell you something. There's no one coming to make it easier for you. There's no fairy godmother coming to wave her magic wand and make you successful. No one is going to give you permission to succeed. The only permission you need is your own. And it's time you stop denying yourself the power to change your life. You've been telling yourself the lie that there's some secret formula to success. You've been waiting for someone to give you the step-by-step guide. You've been waiting for the perfect plan, for the perfect blueprint that will show you exactly how to get what you want. And when it doesn't come, you use that as an excuse. Well, if I just had the right information, the right resources, the right mentor, things would be different. But the truth is, that's the easy way out. You've been told your whole life that you can't do this alone. You've been conditioned to believe that you need someone else to pull the strings for you, that you need external validation and a roadmap. You've been trained to be weak. You've been taught to wait for the perfect moment. But let me ask you this, how many times has waiting done you any good? How many times has sitting on your hands, waiting for the stars to align, actually led to the success you want? None. You want to know why? Because you're wasting time. You're wasting the most precious resource you have. Every minute you spend waiting, every second you spend waiting for the perfect opportunity is a second closer to your demise. I get it. You're afraid. You're afraid of failure. You're afraid of not being good enough, of not being capable. But here's the truth, fear doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Fear is not an enemy. It's a signal. A signal that you're on the edge of something great. A signal that you're about to step into the unknown and face down everything that's been holding you back. Fear is not the problem. The problem is your inability to face that fear head on. You're sitting there, looking for the easy way out. You're waiting for someone to tell you exactly how to succeed. But there's no blueprint for success. There's no one who can give you the answer. The answer would be question you have. The only answer you need is this: start. Right now. Do it. The longer you wait, the longer you let fear control you, the more time you waste. But the lies, they keep coming, don't they? You keep telling yourself that you'll do it tomorrow, or next week, or next year. You keep telling yourself that one day you'll make the leap. One day you'll stop playing small. One day you'll stop letting your comfort zone dictate your life. Well, guess what? Tomorrow is never going to come. Tomorrow is just a myth. A myth you've been telling yourself to get by, to justify your inaction. Tomorrow is a trap. It's a lie that's keeping you stuck. The only time that matters is right now. You don't need a grand vision. You don't need all the answers. What you need is the courage to take that first step. You need the courage to stop believing in the lie that you're not ready, that you don't have what it takes, that you'll never be good enough. You're ready now. You'll never feel ready, and you'll never have all the answers. So stop pretending that you need them to get started. The longer you stay in your head, the more excuses you come up with, the further away you get from your true potential. You're wasting your time on bullshit thoughts that don't move you forward. You think your comfort zone is keeping you safe, but it's not. It's a prison. And every time you tell yourself that it's okay to stay in that cage, you're only digging yourself into a deeper hole. The longer you stay in that hole, the harder it becomes to climb out. And soon you'll find you've become a prisoner to your own self-doubt. It's time to break free. No more lies, no more excuses, no more waiting. Start today, now. This is the moment where everything changes. Either you decide to live or you decide to die. You decide to keep fighting, or you decide to lie down and let the world eat you alive. The truth is, you're already one step away from breaking the chains. You just need to stop believing the lie. Let's strip away all the noise, all the excuses, all the bullshit. Here's the raw truth. You've been wasting your life, and you've been doing it on purpose. It's not the circumstances. It's not the economy. It's not the people around you. It's not the haters, the doubters, or the world trying to hold you down. It's you. You are the one stopping yourself. And you need to hear it loud and clear. The only thing standing between you and what you want is you. You've been lying to yourself for far too long, convincing yourself that one day you'll have what you want. That one day, the universe will magically open doors for you. That one day, you'll finally feel ready. But that one day, it never comes. Because it's not about the universe handing you anything. It's about you taking it. But you're too busy making excuses. Too busy convincing yourself that you're not ready. And every time you let that voice in your head tell you that you're not capable, that you're not good enough, you're shackling yourself even tighter. Now let me hit you with some cold, hard facts. You don't need a mentor. You don't need a degree. You don't need a plan. All you need is a single decision to stop being weak. That's it. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more tips or tricks or secret formulas. You don't need anyone to validate you. You've got everything you need to win right now, but you're too scared to use it. You're too scared to believe in your own strength, to trust that you can do the hard work that everyone else is too weak to do. What's been holding you back? It's not the lack of resources. It's not the lack of opportunities. It's the lack of guts to take that first step. It's the lack of discipline to stay in the fight when things get tough. It's the lack of resilience to rise up every single time you get knocked down. Every time you quit, every time you tell yourself you're not good enough, you're making the choice to stay weak. You are choosing to stay stuck in the same cycle of failure, and you're blaming everything but yourself for it. You want the truth. You are the problem, not the world, not your circumstances, not your enemies, just you. You're stuck in this delusion that you can just wish for success, that it'll somehow fall into your lap. You think because you've worked a little bit, because you've tried here and there, that you've earned something. No, you haven't. Nothing is owed to you. The world doesn't care about your effort. It doesn't care how much time you've put in or how hard you've tried. It doesn't care about your potential. The world cares about what you do with what you have. And right now you're doing nothing with it. You've spent so long convincing yourself that you're trying. You've told yourself that you're doing your best. But I'm telling you right now, your best isn't good enough. You need to do better. You need to push harder, fight longer, sacrifice more. You need to stop settling for mediocrity and start demanding greatness from yourself. You think you've been working hard, but you haven't. You think you've been grinding, but you haven't. You think you've been giving it your all, but you've been giving just enough to stay comfortable. Comfort kills dreams. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. It's what's kept you stuck in this little box you've built for yourself. You've been lying to yourself that it's okay to stay in your safe space. But if you're not fighting every single day, if you're not pushing every single day, if you're not unleashing your full potential, you're just existing, and existence is not living. You've been telling yourself that things will get better, but the reality is that nothing gets better until you decide to make it better. You're waiting for the perfect moment, the right time, the ideal conditions, but that's all fantasy. Life will never be perfect. Life will never give you what you want just because you wait for it. The truth is, the world will never make room for your comfort. It's time to stop lying. Stop telling yourself that you don't have what it takes. Stop telling yourself that you're too old, too young, too inexperienced, too tired, too anything. You've been making excuses for too damn long. You've been hiding behind a mask of self-pity, and the truth is, that mask is the thing that's killing you. Every time you blame someone else for your failures, every time you say it's not your fault, you're caging yourself in a prison of your own making. The truth is ugly, isn't it? It's harsh, but it's the only truth that matters. You've been lying to yourself for too long, and now it's time to face the consequences. You've been allowing the lies to control you, to dictate your actions, to shape your future. But that stops now. You are the creator of your own reality. The truth is, you're the one who's been holding yourself back, and now you have the power to let yourself go. It's time to stop playing small. It's time to stop tattooing around your potential. It's time to stop pretending you're doing everything you can when you know you're not. You know deep down you're capable of so much more. You know you've been holding yourself back out of fear, out of insecurity, out of laziness. But fear is a choice, insecurity is a choice, laziness is a choice. You are choosing to be weak. You are choosing to be mediocre. And the worst part, you're okay with it. You've been taught to play it safe. You've been taught that failure is something to avoid, that risk is something to fear. But let me tell you something. Failure is the only way to grow. If you're not failing, you're not trying. If you're not risking everything, you're not truly living. If you're not all in, you're just existing in a world where you'll never be more than just another statistic. You want success, you want greatness. Then you need to be willing to lose everything for it. It's time to stop lying to yourself. It's time to stop blaming everyone else for where you are. It's time to stop waiting for some perfect moment to change your life. Because that moment is now. The question is, what are you going to do about it? This is the raw truth. You have everything you need. The question is whether you're going to step up and use it, or are you going to stay locked in this cycle of self-doubt? self-pity and excuses. The choice is yours. But I'll tell you this, you won't get another chance to change your life until you decide to change it. Now, let's get something clear. Weakness has a cost, and you're already paying that price every single day. Every time you let yourself off the hook, every time you make another excuse, every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're handing over a piece of your soul. You're trading your potential for a life of mediocrity. And that cost is real. It's not just a what could have been story. It's your future slipping away from you right now. Every second you waste, every time you choose to stay small, you're signing a death sentence to your own dreams. The consequences of weakness aren't something you'll notice right away. They don't scream at you. They don't hit you in the face with a flashing red light. They're slow. They're silent. And that's what makes them so dangerous. They creep in over time. They start as little choices, small decisions that don't seem like a big deal. But those small choices stack up. And before you know it, they define your life. Here's the ugly truth. Weakness doesn't just hold you back. It destroys everything you could have been. Every day you choose to be weak, you're throwing away your potential, your ability to achieve greatness. You're wasting your gifts, your talent, your time, and you will never get it back. You think it's harmless, right? Just a few more excuses, just a little more time to figure things out. Just one more moment of comfort before you get to work. But no, it's not harmless. Every time you avoid facing the truth, every time you make an excuse, you're chipping away at your own self-respect. You're telling yourself that you're not worthy of success, that you're not capable of greatness. And the worst part is you start to believe it. Slowly you start to believe the lie that you're not cut out for this, that success is for other people, that greatness is something that happens to someone else. You need to understand this. Weakness doesn't just leave you stuck. It makes you rot. It makes you stagnant. And what happens when something rots? It doesn't just stay put. It starts to spread. You think that by letting yourself slide by avoiding the hard work, by choosing the easy path, you're just protecting yourself. But no, you're killing everything that's waiting to grow inside of you. You're suffocating the fire that could have turned your life into something legendary. And the worst part, you're too blind to see it until it's too late. And by then the damage is irreversible. You'll wake up one day and realize that the opportunities you let slip through your fingers aren't coming back. The dreams you put off for tomorrow have vanished. The moments you could have seized are gone. The people you could have helped, the impact you could have made, gone. And when that day comes, when you look back at your wasted life, don't you dare tell yourself you didn't have a chance. Don't you dare tell yourself that you couldn't have done better. Because you could have. You could have stepped up. You could have faced the challenges head on. You could have pushed through the pain, the doubt, the discomfort, and built a life that screamed success. But instead, you let fear control you. You let hesitation hold you back. You let your own weaknesses decide your fate. And now, you're stuck in a life of regret. That's the real consequence of weakness, regret. And regret is a silent killer. It doesn't shout at you. It doesn't slap you across the face. It eats away at you quietly, until one day you realize that you've spent your entire life running from what you could have been. You realize that you've allowed your fear, your laziness, your cowardice to rob you of everything you wanted. And it's too late to go back. The people you see succeeding, the ones who are living the life you dream of, they're not any different from you. They don't have special powers. They're not better, smarter, or more talented. They're just willing to sacrifice more. They're willing to suffer through the struggle. They're willing to fail over and over again and keep going anyway. They're willing to make the hard decisions. They're willing to fight for it. They're willing to pay the price. But you want it easy. You want the rewards without the work. You want the results without the sacrifice. And that's why you're stuck. That's why you'll never get there. Do you think success comes easy? Do you think anyone who's achieved anything worth achieving hasn't faced obstacles, setbacks, and pain? Do you think they just got lucky? No, they earned it. They put in the work. They got knocked down, and they kept getting up. They paid the price, and every time they paid it, it cost them something. It cost them time. It cost them friends. It cost them peace. It cost them comfort. And they paid it because they knew that the alternative, the price of weakness, was far worse. You're living the price of weakness right now. You're living in the shadow of your own failure to act. You're living in the prison of your own indecision. You're living in the constant cycle of telling yourself one day while your life slips through your fingers. And that's the cost. You want to know what it really costs to be weak? It costs you everything. The world doesn't care if you're weak. It doesn't care if you're tired and scared or uncertain. It doesn't care about your excuses. The world will move on with or without you. The universe doesn't stop for anyone. And while you're sitting there, waiting for the perfect moment, someone else is out there, grinding, taking risks, doing what needs to be done to build a life they want. They're taking your place. And they're making it happen while you sit there and wonder, what if? What if you stop lying to yourself? What if you stop being weak? What if you decided right now to face the consequences of your own failure to act and change everything? What if you made the decision to stop accepting mediocrity, stop accepting failure, stop accepting anything less than greatness? Because that's what's at stake. Not just the life you have now, but the life you could have had, the person you could have been. And every day you let weakness win, you are throwing that person away. You're sacrificing your potential, your future, your legacy for the false comfort of inaction. So what's it going to be? Are you going to let weakness control you? Or are you going to rise up and take what's yours? It's time. The moment of truth is here. You've been through the fire. You've faced the consequences of your weakness. You've heard the lies, seen the cracks, felt the weight of every excuse you've made. Now it's time to decide. Are you going to stay down, or are you going to rise? You've been broken. You've been beaten. You've been betrayed by your own complacency. But that's not where this story ends. It ends with you standing taller than you've ever stood before. It ends with you rising from the ashes of your own self-doubt, taking everything you've been through and using it as fuel to break free from the chains that have held you captive for far too long. It's time to stop playing the victim. It's time to stop blaming the world for your failures. It's time to take ownership. You can keep running from your problems, or you can face them head on, armed with the raw power that's been lying dormant inside of you. You've got more inside of you than you've been giving credit for. You've been holding yourself back with fear, with excuses, with doubt. But now you've got something to prove. This is not about soft self-help affirmations. This is not about a gentle little push. This is about a fight. This is about breaking the chains that have been holding you down for years, ripping them apart, and showing the world who the hell you really are. You are not weak. You are not a failure. You are a warrior. And it's time to rise up and take back what's yours. You've been living in the shadows of your own potential. No more. No more hiding behind excuses. No more lying to yourself about how hard things are. The time for sympathy is over. You're not here to be coddled. You're not here to sit in your safe little comfort zone. You are here to dominate. And that starts now. The person you are today, the version of yourself that's been afraid, unsure, and lazy is about to die. That person, the weak version of you, is about to be obliterated. And from the ashes of that old self, the new you is going to rise. The warrior, the fighter, the one who decides every single day that there's no other option but to move forward, to conquer, to overcome. This is your rebirth. Stop waiting for motivation to hit you like a lightning bolt. You've already got everything you need to start right now. It's not a matter of waiting for the right moment. It's a matter of making the decision right now, right this second, that you're going to take the next step. You've been waiting for life to give you a sign, but here it is. The sign is now. The moment is now. The chance to break free is right in front of you. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone's approval. You need to act. You need to stop asking for permission to be great. You need to stop asking for validation. You need to demand it from yourself. You've been trapped in a cycle of waiting, of thinking that one day maybe something will change. But nothing changes until you make it change. Nothing shifts until you decide to break the mold. Until you decide to fight through the bullshit, through the pain, through the discomfort. That's where real growth happens. The only thing stopping you from leveling up is your own willingness to do what others won't do. Others are too weak. They're too soft, they're too comfortable. And while they sleep, while they stay stuck in their little bubbles of mediocrity, you rise. You rise because you've decided that you are done with the excuses, done with the self-doubt, done with waiting for the perfect moment. You are not here to play small. You are not here to fit into someone else's expectations. You are here to dominate your world. And it starts with your decision to rise above everything that's held you back. The lies, the doubts, the insecurities, the fear. It all ends now. It ends with you standing tall. It's time to destroy the person you've been. It's time to burn away every ounce of weakness, of fear, of hesitation, and build yourself into the person you've always been capable of becoming. You have the strength, the power, the will to break through every wall that stood in your way. All you have to do is decide. This is not a motivational speech about waiting for the stars to align. This is about you grabbing your future by the throat and taking it. This is about you walking through hell with fire in your eyes and blood on your hands. This is war. And in war, there are no excuses. In war, there are no second chances. There's no time for doubt. You either rise or you fall. You rise because you have something to prove, not to anyone else, but to yourself. You rise because you are no longer willing to let life dictate the terms of your success. You make the rules. You rise because you know that if you don't, you'll never forgive yourself. You'll never forgive yourself for choosing weakness over strength, for choosing comfort over greatness. The time for self-pity is over. The time for making excuses is over. The time for waiting for someone to hand you a better life is over. This is your war now. This is your fight to win, and you have the power to win it. But you need to act. Now, not tomorrow. Not next week. Not after you've had more time to think. No, now. Take that step. Do the hard thing. Push through the pain. It's all part of the process. The growth. The grind. The pain is your fuel. The fight is what will make you unstoppable. So let the world try to hold you down. Let the doubts and fears swarm around you. It doesn't matter, because you are not the person who crumbles. You are the person who rises. You are the person who breaks every single chain. And now it's your time. Are you ready? Or are you going to sit there and wonder, what if? This is the moment. The only moment. The rise starts now. Are you with me? Or are you still going to sit in your weakness? Enough hesitation. Enough waiting. Enough excuses. There is no more time. There is no more room for doubt. This is the final command. You've heard the truth. You've seen the cost of weakness. You felt the fire of your own failure, and now you stand at the precipice of everything you've ever wanted. You stand at the intersection of your past and your future. And now you must choose. You've been dragged through the dirt. You've faced the lies you've told yourself. You've been shown the brutal consequences of your inaction. And still, the only thing left is what you're going to do with this moment. Make no mistake. The path ahead is not easy. There will be no soft landings, no gentle hands to guide you. There is only one way forward, through the pain, through the fear, through every bit of resistance that you've been holding on to. This is the fight of your life, and it is not negotiable. The time to stand up has arrived. But this fight isn't just about defeating the world around you. This fight is about defeating the person you used to be. The old version of you, the weak one, the one that allowed excuses to reign supreme, the one that preferred comfort over action, that allowed fear to control its every decision. That person cannot come with you. You must burn them away. You must walk forward and leave that old version of yourself behind. No more looking back. No more wondering if you could have done it differently. You can't afford to waste another second, because here's the truth. If you don't do this now, if you don't rise, if you don't act, then you will remain trapped in the same cycle forever. You will be just another statistic of unfulfilled potential. You will be the person who looked back at their life and asked, what if? What if I had taken that chance? What if I had faced that fear? What if I had just taken action? Do you want that to be your legacy? A life of what ifs? A life that could have been great but wasn't because you allowed your weaknesses to define you. You have one choice. It's time to command your future. You don't ask for permission. You don't wait for the stars to align. You take it. Right now you stand at the edge of your new life. And it is up to you whether you jump or remain stagnant. You can stay in the pit of complacency, buried under excuses, letting the world pass you by. Or you can rise up and take control. The choice is yours. You rise or you fall. The world doesn't care either way, but you will. You will care. Because in the end, the only person you have to answer to is yourself. And when you look back at your life, what will you see? A life of courage and triumph, or a life of wasted potential and regret? Right now, the world is at your feet. Everything you've ever dreamed of, everything you've ever wanted, is right in front of you. But you have to claim it. This is no longer a question of what you can achieve. It's a matter of whether you have the will to fight for it. You've been given the blueprint. The truth is out in the open. You know the cost of weakness, the price of hesitation. You've been shown what happens when you let fear control you, when you let comfort take priority over your goals. Now the question is, what will you do with it? Move forward. No hesitation. No more waiting for the perfect moment. The only perfect moment is now. Take the step. Take the first action. Make the decision to leave behind the person who was afraid to fight. That person is dead. The person standing here right now is the one who will win. This is your command. You've been called to rise. You are not weak. You are not scared. You are not small. You are capable. You are strong. You are a warrior. And warriors don't wait. They fight. They win. And so the battle begins right now. You rise. You move. You act. There are no more excuses. There's only you, your actions, and the future you've been dreaming of. Now go and take it. Your time is now.